It's more than just coincidence. You look around and see the earth, the moon, the sun and the sky, a beautiful creation of Allah. So how could you deny?
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar. How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our show, The Philosophy of the Islamic Law. And as usual, we would like to welcome Professor Muhammad Naim Saie for being with us. Professor Naim Saie is the professor of the Islamic Law in several American universities in America. Professor Muhammad, let's continue the same subject that we were talking about last time. And you mentioned that even though that the numbers of the rules that runs or control how we worship, the acts of worshiping, are less, but it can be distributed among all these rules that control how to deal with others. So would you please remind our viewers about this part?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. اللهم يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا من لدنك علما واجعل أقوالنا وأفعالنا ونياتنا كلها خالصة لوجهك الكريم آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. As we said in the other episode, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by His mercy, by His wisdom, has made this Islamic law the manual book for human being happiness in this life. Very well organized, very well designed to fit the need of the whole mankind and to suit the nature of the human beings. Regarding His rights, subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made it, Azza wa Jal, very easy, as we said, very little, based on forgiveness, based on easiness, made it very less in numbers compared to the right of His servants, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does match their nature. They are miser, they don't give up on their right very easy, and they are busy in their life. And instead of make their life bombarded with a lot of His rights, subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made it very simple, that you have to pray 5 times a day. It does take from you about maybe 45 minutes. You have to fast 1 month a year. You have to make one Hajj, one time a Hajj to Makkah Mukarram once in your life. It's very, very simple, very easy, very less in numbers. But even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made all these rules to be covering, to be going through your life from the first moment you get up from your bed to the last moment you are going to your bed again. As we said before that, this 5 times prayer, you started your day, or you start your day by the Fajr prayer, the dawn prayer, then you go to your work, you take maybe break, you remember that you have to pray the Zuhr prayer, the noon prayer, you go back to your work, and then you finish your work, you go to your home, before your lovely wife prepare your food, you are busy with Asr prayer. You did finish that. You finish the prayer, then you go for some maybe nap or maybe relaxation. Sunset, the first prayer at night. You start your night by praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and standing before His presence, Azza wa Jal. Before you finish your night, you finish it with the Isha prayer. So you feel that even it's like very short, very simple, very less in numbers, but it is covering. All these, commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are covering, are robbing all your life, as if that the key of your home, the door of your home, the frame of your home, everything, wherever you go in your home, something to remind you about the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala, but in less effort and less numbers and less responsibilities. But the whole issue here that to remind you that you are His servant. You are the worshipper of the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. That will cover your life, that will affect on your other activities in your life. So it is very beautiful to find this Sharia or this Islamic law. Instead of saying like just go to the church maybe one time a week, no, you have prayer every day. You have prayer noon time, you have a morning time, you have night time. It is very simple, very easy as we said, but it is taken from your mind. They do affect on your spirit. They do affect on your maybe way of thinking in your life, the way you are treating others in your life. And this is the magnificent work of the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. A remarkable art of designing something to fit you in your life. Something relate to Him, appears to be that His right, you are doing this for Him, and something to fit your need, you are doing that for yourself, for your issue of making business in your life, making social, good social life, making everything possible to make yourself as a very active person in this life. But without feeling it, in many cases, you are mixed, as if that, as we said, the human being paste is being mixed with the act of worshipping and giving that beautiful fragrance, beautiful smell. Wherever you go, you are the worshipper of God subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala. You mentioned in the very beginning of the show that the acts of worshipping, in fact, they are serving how to deal with others. And when I look to it, I see that there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that Islam is based on 5. And we look at them, we find that 4 of them are acts of worshipping, not things that related to how to deal with others. Then how you can explain to me the first statement? What is the relation? Because the first statement, basically, it says what you mentioned, that the act of worshipping, serving. So the goal here is how to deal with others. But Islam is only based on 5 things, and most of them are acts of worshipping.
Beautiful question, and again, subhanAllah, this is support with what we are talking about since we have started this program, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. If you compare between, or make combination between this hadith that Islam has been founded or established or founded on, based on 5 pillars, bunya al-Islamu ala khams. The first one is the shahada, the faith, the belief. You are announcing, you are declaring your belief in Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second, the third, the fourth, the 5 is like, as we said. And as you said, act of worshipping.
Yes.
Prayer and fasting, hajj and charity. Now, make combination between of this hadith, this saying the Prophet ﷺ, and the other saying when he said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, المسلم من سلم الناس من لسانه ويده. Muslim is the one where people are safe. They are within full protection because of his Islam. Because of the Islam based on active worshipping, they are safe. You could put it this way. People are in a full protection, they are safe, they are living with harmony with that person because he is a Muslim, because his Islam based on active worshipping. I said that you are saying because he is making all his life based on these 5 pillars, and 4 of them are active worshipping, people are safe. People are enjoying, people are having the full security and safety and peace in their life. What if you try to pick up some other maybe sayings of the Prophet ﷺ when he is mentioning about the levels of or the ranks of iman, belief. Al-iman bid'un wa sab'una shu'batan. And one of them, when you are taken away from the road of the people, any harmful object. You are driving your car in the freeway and you saw something might hurt someone, might cause an accident, so you stop your car, you pull over, and you step down from your car and you go and pick up that maybe harmful things and you throw it away or put it in some safe area, because you are the person who is praying, because you are the person who is fasting, you are the person who is going to the mosque, you are the person who is giving the charity. So this is the combination between Bunyan Islam al has been established on 5 pillars, 4 of them active worshipping, to give us the indication from the Prophet ﷺ that you should not declare your Islam, you should not claim that you are Muslim unless you are activating all these 5 pillars in your life. You cannot say that I am maintaining these 5 pillars and 4 of them active worshipping unless you are making them work for the benefit of others. So that's why we said that this hadith is very strong evidence that Islam even is based on these 5 pillars or 4 pillars active worshipping. It is just to indicate that Islam will not be recognized by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unless you are activating this active worshipping in the field of the ruling your relationship with others.
SubhanAllah. Before the recording, you mentioned a statement. So I would like the viewer to know it. You said that الأصل في العبادات هي التعبد والأصل في المعاملات هي التعقل والتعلل, which means the roots of active worshipping is التعبد, which is like more of worshipping and meditation and reflection, while the roots of the dealing with others is reasoning and rational thinking.
Yes.
How do you explain this? It's very deep statement.
Another beautiful things about this Islamic law. If you look at the section of work of active worshipping, as Muslim scholars they say, it is based on absolute following, obedience, and compliance with the commandment of the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't have to think too much about why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded you to pray 5 times, not 4 times, or maybe 4 rak'ah in the Zuhr time, not 3 rak'ah, or it's like 7 times you go around the Kaaba and we are making the tawaf and al-Hajj. Just by fulfilling this commandment, doing it, you are okay. You have fulfilled your responsibility. You have reached the pleasant of God subhanahu wa ta'ala by just following. And you don't need anything else rather than just knowing the Islamic law issue in that regard, and you do it, you practice it. Because this is regarding Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is to apply His full pleasant of God subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unfortunately, I have to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Do you have to?
Yes, I'm sorry. We have to go for a quick break and we'll come back again to continue, inshallah.
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar. How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Welcome back. Professor Muhammad, before the break, you were mentioning that the roots of active worshipping is a complete and absolute obedience, which means that we should not ask why we pray, for example, Dhuhr 4 times or 4 rak'ah, or why we turn around the Kaaba 7 times. But some people ask these questions, and from time to another, some people try to give some explanations, and sometimes they say, this is how it is. What is the right answer for this question?
It is very important to say in all Islamic law issues in both sections, active worshipping and active, or maybe section of ruling, your right and others' right, the basic in Islam to say, whatever has authentically proved that this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are going to follow it. We obey. We heard, we obeyed. This general rule for both sections. But we meant here that in the section of active worshipping, because it is meant to be the reflection on your claim as His worshipper, the worshipper of God, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, with your relationship with Him as a worshipper, as a servant, you don't waste your time asking about why and how. You waste your time, or maybe spend your time, on fulfilling the meaning behind this act of worshipping. So the great meaning behind 5 times a day you pray, the great meaning behind making Hajj or fasting in a holy month of Ramadan. You try to spend your time and focus, concentrate on the meanings of this act of worshipping, instead of asking why it is 1 month only. I think we need 2 months, God forbid. Maybe we need less. Why it is like 5 times? Should we make it like one prayer at the daytime and one the night time? Or maybe let us have more than that. Let us establish more than that, something like this. So no, you don't spend your time and think about this kind of outer issues about the act of worshipping. You focus and concentrate on the great meaning of it, which is to reflect on your claim as worshipper of God subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when you go to the second section of ruling your relationship with others, ruling your right and others' right, you need, because this section based on the interest of the servant of God subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it azza wa jal very clear. And from time to time, from commandment to another one, to see some verses of the Quran Kareem, to talk clearly and very openly about the wisdom, the reason behind establishing this kind of rule or this Islamic law issue. So we are understanding that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing this, is commanding you in your own section for your own benefit, for your own interest, for your safety, for your security, for your protection, for your happiness, for everything, for your satisfaction, for fulfilling your inside needs, for everything you might say this is a human being needs in our life. So it is beautiful to see that these rules in the second section, full with wisdoms, openly talking about some reasons. So the fuqaha, the Muslim scholars, they said, well, this second section is the opposite of the first section. Even both of them, they have the sense of worshipping God subhanahu wa ta'ala. But second section does have this unique attribute, which is that you understand clearly why God forbid Muslim to commit adultery. It's very clearly. You understand why God prohibited Muslims to drink alcoholic drinks. Right?
Yes.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in His holy book, as we said, in different places, when He talked about some issues regarding your right, regarding yourself, regarding your life, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing this. إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَنْ يُوقِعَ بَيْنَكُمُ الْعَدَاوَةَ وَالْبَغْضَاءَ فِي الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ. Allah is referring to the shaitan. What the shaitan is his goal is to make enmity between you when you are doing the gambling and maybe drinking alcoholic drinks. So Allah is talking openly and clearly about the reason behind the prohibition of
gambling and
drinking wines or alcoholic drinks. So you understand from this that what Allah meant subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is telling us, my servant, when I say this is prohibited or I say this is must to do, in your section you have to understand this is only purely for you, for your own benefit, for your own interest. When I command you to pray or to fast, this is purely to show me that you are really the servant of me. So don't waste your time thinking about why is it 4 rak'ah or 3 rak'ah or 2 rak'ah. Don't waste your time thinking about why it's 7 times, around that 8 times. Don't start saying why it's like 3 times, preferably to make ablution to your Muslim part of your body. Concentrate on the meanings of this act of worshiping, because this is me. This belongs to Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Focus on the meaning of it by showing that you are a real servant to Him. But Allah, because He's just, He's the one, subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is giving you the sense of thinking and knowing and touching the wisdom of His commandment, saying it is obvious, it is very clear to see my commandment covering your life, covering every aspect of your life with the beautiful wisdoms and beautiful reasons. So there is no hesitation or nothing wrong by digging in the second section to get the reason behind this hukum, as the Muslim scholar they did, subhanallah, because we'll see later on what is the other maybe wisdom behind making these 2 sections looks to be like different. And it's like appearance. Even they are the same, and it's like the main or general goal of both of them, which is like to be the worshipper of God subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Is it, can we say possibly that this act of worshipping are this way? Because if they are not, the same question will be asked, like if it's 5 rak'ah, not 4, people will ask the same question, why it's 5, not 6? And if it's 6, they will ask why it's not 4. And it will be an ongoing question. So this is why we have to just obey. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, we believe strongly that whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and wherever you find any commandment of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala indicating that you have to do such things in your life regarding this Islamic law, is being designed very, very perfectly, because this is coming from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have no doubt, without even thinking about it. But even this first section, and this is the other thing about what we have said before, another beautiful things in the same idea. Even the first section based on worshipping, it is not based on reasoning, but you could find a lot of wisdoms. As we talked in the other episode about generally speaking about the wisdom of praying and fasting, and how all this act of worship is going to affect on you as a person dealing in this life.
Yes.
These like meanings and wisdoms.
Yes.
And that we are doing this program, the philosophy of Islamic law, in both sections, right?
Yes.
But what we meant in this point, that the first section, to make it very clearly, it is your main mission in your life to show God subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are a real worshipper. You believe in Him, you trust Him, concentrate on the meaning of His commandment and not the out of His commandment. Then you make yourself ready and able, inshallah ta'ala, to transfer all this meaning, the great meaning of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, into the second section. Now, because the second section is a full of active. You are, as we said, you are selling, buying, divorcing, marrying, authorizing someone, claiming something, being accused by something, you are suing some other people, you are a witness in some cases, you are a judge in some other cases. It's a very active life, right? So you need to know the reason behind these commandments, so you are able to make connection between this rule and some other rules might be faced in the future. And that leads us to the issue of al-qiyas, what takhrij. What qiyas and takhrij? What is the meaning of Muslim scholars being able sometimes, in many cases, to bring the original rule, Islamic rule, long time ago, when that Islam was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ, to the same new incident or case it did happen in our modern time. They give both incident, the old one and the new one, the same status in Islamic law, because the reason behind that one, the old one, is the same reason behind the second one. So they make it one issue, that they call it qiyas, that you are referring.
Conclusion, make a conclusion.
The conclusion is the result.
Yeah.
but you are making a research.
Yes.
And the first original Islamic issue happened in his time, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to find out the reason behind this. Sometimes you find that reason is being said clearly by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sometimes by making a research. Sometimes you find that reason is unanimously agreed on among Muslim scholars. Sometimes you have some difference about this reason. But in any case, you are able to bring that reason for the original Islamic issue and use it for having a new Islamic status for the new incident or new case. Give an example.
Yes, please.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited drinking wine on his time, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Yes.
We know that alcoholic drinks are not just one type, one kind. They could make alcoholic drinks from almost everything. So, but what happened in his time, that they have certain kind of alcoholic drinks.
Yes.
They used to make it out of like grape, date, some other things. Now in our modern times, we have more than one kind, right?
Yes.
So how to apply the same Islamic issue for the new case, unless you have one reason connected between the first one and the second one.
And inshallah, we have to know more about this, inshallah, in the next episode, because unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. I would like to thank Professor Muhammad Naim Saie for being with us and sharing his knowledge with us. And please visit us next episode. We have more to say. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's more than just coincidence. You look around and see the earth, the moon, the sun, and the sky. A beautiful creation of Allah. So how could you deny?
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar. How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.